Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Inman. I'm here with the Full of Beans. And yes, I do have permission to read this to you. And I'm putting the little statement at the front of the video stating that Random House has given us permission to read as long as we take them down by May. And I'll be taking them off. So you need to be listening now if you can. All right. So today is pajama day at Grace Hill Elementary. And so I have like some little pink flamingos here and a very casual hat because, I mean, we're being casual, no makeup. And Grace Hill, even though they're not in school, they are still having a fun day. I dress up every day. And also, I'm talking to the Lowell kids. Hey, Lowell. So I have Grace Hill and Lowell that I'm reading to. Of course, I may have other people too. But they're all kids wanting to hear this book. It's called Full of Beans. We're on chapter 7, Invasion. So here we go. I was seeing the Shirley Temple picture. I was going to be going to the late show by myself and had Kermit at home. He'd spent all of his Johnny Cakes money on ice cream from El-Anon, and he had a bellyache. The theater was mostly empty. I sat in the balcony. A man was already sitting there, and he was wearing a black fedora hat low over his face. It was strange enough for a man to wear a hat inside. It's very rude, I knew. But something else about him sort of struck me as off. Then I realized what it was. He was wearing gloves. I'd never seen a man wearing gloves. They gave him an old-fashioned look, like he came from another time. But then the projector started rolling, and I forgot all about the gloves. I was transported to the world where men wore shiny shoes, kids tap danced, and ladies were called dames. It was nothing like the life I knew in the lanes of Key West. Acting didn't even look that hard. All you had to do was pretend, and I could do that. I just needed to get a screen test with Warner Brothers. The picture was good. Shirley Temple stole the whole show. Boy, was Bring Back My Hammer right. This kid was going to be a star. Before I knew it, the credits were rolling. When the lights came up, the gloved man was gone, melted into the shadows. There was something on the ground by his chair, a wooden cane with a polished glass knob on top. I stopped by the ticket booth and handed the cane back to Bring Back My Hammer. The man in the balcony left this, I told him. What man? Well, the one that was wearing the gloves. I didn't let no man in with gloves. Maybe you saw a haint. Haint? Well, that's what the conscience called ghosts. If you say so, I said. But something even more unbelievable than haints showed up the next morning. I was in the outhouse, flipping through the Sears Roebuck catalog. It came free, so we used the pages to wipe. They sold just about everything. Rubber tires, ladies' brassieres, typewriters, bathtubs, potato planters, diamond rings, anything you needed you could find on these pages. I loved imagining what I would buy from the catalog if I were rich. A sewing machine for Ma, a new pair of shoes for Poppy, a high chair for Buddy, a bicycle for Kermit, and for me, I wanted an accordion. An accordion seemed like something only rich people would have because nobody needed an accordion. Imagine having a party and saying, "You want to see my accordion?" And watching every single kid's mouth drop open in amazement. I had the model all picked out and everything. I was even going to have a fancy case. My dreams were interrupted by the loud sound of a truck thundering down our quiet lane. I finished my business and walked into the house. Everyone was huddled around the front door looking out. "Did you see the circus come to town?" I asked. "Better than a circus," my mother said. She opened the door so I could see out. Men in the lane were shoveling garbage onto the bed of a truck. Termite barked at them. "They're picking up garbage?" I asked. "Apparently," she replied. "Well, wonders never cease." Remember, there's garbage all over town. Fast-talking men in Bermuda shorts started showing up everywhere. Key West was being invaded by new dealers. "There's another one," Pork Chop said. We were walking down Francis Street when he pointed out a skinny man with white legs in Bermuda shorts. I hear the new dealers took over a building downtown to organize the volunteers, Kermit piped up. Volunteers, you're all wet, Porkchop said. It's true, Kermit insisted. Folks are volunteering to help clean up. What a bunch of applesauce, Porkchop said, shaking his head. I couldn't agree more. The new dealers didn't appear to have a lick of sense, especially the head lunatic. We ran into Mr. Stone on Grinnell Street. He was in his underpants, Bermuda shorts, as usual. He was standing outside a house with another bunch of old people called the new dealers. They were also in their underwear. My good man, Mr. Stone was saying to the old conch man sitting on the porch, you need to open up the shutters on your house. Why? Asked the old man. Because we want Key West to look hospitable. The shutters keep the house cool, he replied. Sir, if you would allow me to demonstrate what I'm talking about, Mr. Stone said. And the old man shook his head. Have at it. Mr. Stone walked over to the shutters and started to tug them open, but they were stuck. Mister, I said, you don't want to do that. Oh, I know exactly what I'm doing, peas, Mr. Stone huffed. It's beans, I corrected him, but he just ignored me. I knew the man was crazy, but it turned out he was dumb too. Mr. Stone tugged the shutters open and then screamed, nearly falling over on himself as he stumbled back. A small black creature with claws and a waving tail scuttled up the side of the house. Was that a scorpion? Mr. Stone gasped, holding a hand to his chest. They like to nest behind the shutters, I said. That's the other reason that we keep them closed. Later that afternoon, I saw another fella in Bermuda shorts. This one wasn't taking down shutters, though. He was painting a picture of them. The fella had set up his easel in front of a little conch house on Nassau Lane. I stopped to watch him paint. He copied the yard and the house perfectly. The uneven wooden fence and the palm trees and the open scuttle window upstairs. But it was the colors that drew me in. In his version, that dull gray house had cheery yellow shutters, and the brown of the palms was a fiery orange, and the roof was a burnished red. The whole picture was bright and inviting, like a movie poster, instead of looking old and tired and hidden behind overgrown weeds. He glanced at me. What's your name, kid? Beans. I'm Avery. Nice to meet you, he said. The man paused and he puffed on his pipe. So what do you think, Beans? You're painting it all wrong, I told him. The artist arched his eyebrows. Is that so? The house isn't yellow. All those other colors, they aren't there either. I think you need to look a little harder, he said, and he winked. His accent was strange. Are you from, one of them new dealers? I suppose you could say that. What do you do? I asked. He waved his paintbrush at the canvas. This? You paint pictures? We're creating postcards and a brochure to advertise Key West as a tourist destination. Where did you learn to paint? Hollywood. I used to paint tiles for the silent pictures. You were in Hollywood working in pictures and now you're painting houses? You sure must have done something wrong. He made a face. It wasn't exactly in the plan, but then again, nothing ever is. I watched him paint for a little bit. You need to paint some people in there, I told him, pointing at the canvas. And he cocked his head. Otherwise, it seemed kind of dead. Who would want to visit a dead town? Very astute observation, he said. I think you might secretly be an artist. No way, no how, I said. I want to be rich. I don't want to end up painting houses. And that's the end of our chapter. It was a short chapter today, Invasion. And they were invaded by the new dealers. Those were all the men in the Bermuda shorts trying to clean up their town and make it into a tourist destination. So our next chapter is chapter 8. It's called Bad Baby. So it sounds like Beans is going to have to take care of his little brother again to me. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow where I don't know what kind of day it's going to be. It's going to be an exciting day, though. Bye.